Okay.
It's over, Leo. It's over. Leo's eyes bore into mine as I look back at him. Now isn't the time for this. In fact, it's the absolute worst time for something like this. But looking at him, I can tell that this is the only time for Leo.
No, Leo.
Leo's eyes widen, and he leans his head back just slightly, at the same time taking a step back. It's like I physically pushed him.
After everything that's happened, I I just can't.
Leo seems frozen, watching me, his arms hanging loosely at his sides. I hear the crunch of gravel next to me, and Kudzu's by my side. Come on, we're going now. Leo's hand moves, then to his waistband. I have a moment to see him lift a gun from under his shirt, his eyes on Kudzu. His body moves automatically, my body moves automatically, stepping in front of the raccoon and raising my hands up to my chest defensively. Leo has already frozen his motion, though, gun in front of his stomach, still pointed at the ground as he stares past me. What the fuck? I feel Kudzu grab my arm from behind, his grip so tight that it's painful. But I keep my eyes on Leo, waiting and watching to see what direction the gun might go. But then it drops. First his arm, which hangs loosely by his side once more, then the gun, which clatters to the gravel below. I flinch, expecting it to go off, but it doesn't, and instead my ears are filled with the sound of the arriving train. Leo's eyes are back on mine, and I watch as tears start to spill out.
Come on, Leo. We gotta get out of here.
Kudzu pulls me back, and I turn away from Leo and towards the town of Echo, and rejoin the rest of the group.
Run!
Flynn shoves Carl forward, and the ram takes off alongside the rails, looking over his shoulder at the train. Next thing I know, we're all running after Carl as the train catches up. I look back. Flynn waves both arms at the locomotive as it whizzes past, but if there's a reaction from the driver, I don't see it. I have just enough time to read the letters on the side of the engine, Prescott Railway, before it's moving past me down the tracks. I realize then that the train is quite short, maybe only 5 cars in all. We won't have many chances.
Uju.
Flynn points at the caboose and starts running beside it, next to 2 little steps that drop down at the very end of the platform. Gracefully, the lizard jumps, landing his feet on the steps as his hands scramble for some kind of purchase. He finds it and pulls himself in, and at the next second he's reaching out, holding on to a handle on the caboose as he grabs one of Kudzu's paws. With much more ease than Flynn had, Kudzu jumps onto the steps and pulls himself onto the platform. I pass Carl at this point, the ram already losing steam. He calls after me in a hoarse, ragged voice. Carl?
Where? Oh, there it is. Okay. Lost my place. Sorry. I'm not gonna be.
Flynn grabs the ram as they pass, and Carl skips on the uneven gravel. And for a horrifying moment, I think he's gonna fall. But Kudzu leans in and snatches him up as well, practically lifting Carl onto the platform. I hear a deafening crack as one of his horns comes flying off in Kudzu's hand, as Flynn yanks him onto the train.
It flies over, gets stuck in the engine, and the whole train comes to a screeching halt.
It flies under one of the wheels, and the train just flips over on its side and comes to a stop. We're stuck in Echo.
Yeah, a penny falls out of his pocket, lands on the track, and you're all doomed.
Yeah, it's like the train gets suplexed like in that one Final Fantasy game.
And the funny thing is, in other routes, Graham,
Carl.
Carl talks about suplexing. Suplexing people because he used to watch wrestling.
Jenna, who's right beside me, is next, reaching out a paw to Flynn. He grabs it and Jenna easily jumps on over the 2 steps. I think it's my turn next, but TJ slows down abruptly, and I move to the side to make room for him. Flynn grabs his arm, and TJ hesitates several times before Kudzu gets a grip on him as well, and he's able to step up onto the first step. It's then that I realize that the train is picking up speed, and I'm starting to slow down. I move out beside the caboose, seeing Flynn's outstretched hand. Now that I'm next to it, I can see how terrifying this is. The wheels clack loudly in my ears, and I have no idea how I'm going to lift one leg up while keeping up this speed. But I get a grasp on Flynn's hand, and I see Kudzu's paw reaching out as well. The train is going way too fast, and I know I'm only going to have one chance at this. I'm going to pull down on their hands and lift my feet up to land on the last step. Once my feet make contact, relief floods through me. I can't help myself but grin as I'm pulled up onto the steps. I don't know if we're safe or if this whole plan is going to work, but we carried it out somehow, and I feel good for once. Then I remember Leo and look back, expecting to see him running next to the train. Instead, all I see is brush and gravel rushing past. I look back towards town, and I think I can make out a small figure in the distance, exactly where I'd left him.
Where the hell is Leo?
I stay silent, but Flynn follows my gaze out towards the desert.
Yes.
At that moment, I'm not sure what I should feel. Probably relief. But what I do feel is an incredible wave of sadness, like a physical wave smashing into my body. Probably the same thing Leo felt when I told him. Some part of me knows that this shouldn't matter right now. All that matters is that we might have just escaped with our lives, but leaving Leo behind. Somehow, someone I'd known most of my life. Someone who'd protected me, been a friend to me, guided me through the worst parts of my life. Someone who'd always emphasized togetherness and family. Who'd always vowed to protect and stand by my side. That very same person I had just chosen to stay behind. While we're the ones leaving, he's the one that decided to leave us. And as that solitary figure grows smaller and smaller, the idea hurts more than anything else right now. After seeing Jaundice get murdered, after being tortured by Brian, after nearly being murdered in a mine, his separation from my best friend is the knife being twisted into my chest. I sink to my knees, holding onto the railing, wondering if I should have stayed behind. Because the Leo I'd just been with isn't the Leo I really know. I needed help, and he needed help, and I'd just abandoned him. I should have stayed behind. Hot tears spill over my cheeks as I stare at the metal platform. Fuck. Go ahead. We say the words under my breath. There's more rage behind them than anything I've ever said in my life. And they're meant for echo. Fuck you for killing Jaundice. Fuck you for hurting William. Fuck you for killing Duke. Fuck you for hurting Cliff. Fuck you for what's buried in the mines. Fuck you for hurting Nick. Fuck you for twisting my friends into something they're not. Fuck you for hurting Cynthia and Murdoch. And fuck you for ruining my life. I sit there on my knees, sobbing hard, like I'm crying for 2 people at once. I can't see Leo anymore, but the thought of him alone and probably hurting like me is too much. I don't know for how long I cry for, but it feels like a long time. After a while, I feel a paw on my shoulder. I imagine the rest of my friends standing there, staring at me, but when I turn my head, it's only Kudzu. The raccoon is crouched next to me, his head turned towards me, a look that can only be described as understanding on his face. In a bit of a daze, I rub my face on my shoulder to clear my vision.
Sorry.
Don't be. Kudzu says it automatically as he rubs my shoulder gently. Do you want to get up? The rest of them went inside. I stay crouched there for a moment, watching the blur of the train tracks in front of me as we continue through the desert.
Give me a sec.
My nose is all stuffy, so my voice comes out clogged. The tiny lights of echo on the endless expanse of the desert get smaller and smaller, and so too does the feeling of tension in my chest. And with that tension goes the sad, angry presence in my head. He goes quiet again. Makes me feel a little bit better, but each time I think about Leo, that knife gets a little deeper. Kudzu nods and squeezes my shoulder. After a few moments of silence, he speaks. You know that someone I lost years ago? I wipe my eyes again and nod. He was my boyfriend. Oh my god, Kudzu is becoming more and more a Khajiit. That's what's happening at the voice acting. I keep silent as I stare at the tracks, almost hypnotized. That strange feeling of wanting to jump tickles at the back of my brain, then fades slowly. One night we were walking along like we usually did, and then we got mugged. We should have just given him everything, but my boyfriend, of course, stepped forward, confronting the guy, and got shot. I glanced back at the raccoon, with no idea what to say. Kudzu shakes his head like he's coming out of a dream. I'm just saying that I'm here. I might know what this feels like, you know? I cough a little to clear my throat.
I mean, he didn't die yet.
Kudzu shrugs. Breaking up can feel like that sometimes.
It's a lot more than just that. It was all of that.
I wave in the direction of the town.
It just feels like I lost him right when we got away.
We're gonna get people to go back for him.
Yeah.
Let out a big breath before slowly standing up, my knees popping as I do. Kudzu stands with me as I lean against the railing, choosing not to look out at the town. After a moment, I turn around to face Kudzu, and then I'm hugging him. There's no hesitation this time as he hugs back. I let myself lean into him, letting him support me, feeling the fur on his neck poke through mine. We stay like that for a good 5 minutes, vibrating along with the train. Finally, I pull back.
All right. We should probably go in. I don't think it's all that safe out here anyway.
Without letting go of me, Kudzu opens the door and guides me inside. My friends are all sitting in little seats in the dark, swaying along with the train's movements. Carl sits closest to us, and he looks up at the sound of the door.
Hey, Ace, are you okay?
I laugh.
No.
Carl smiles sadly.
Yeah, sorry. You're fine, man.
I see Jenna and TJ together on the seats furthest along the wall, and Flynn sits opposite them. Further still, a small shape sits leaning against the opposite end of the caboose, curled up in his seat. It's Clint. Flynn occasionally glances at him, but the polecat doesn't seem interested in coming closer to us. Kudzu guides me to sit next to Carl, and I make room so that the raccoon can sit next to me.
Can I just put a little side note that it makes no sense that Clint's here?
I mean, he did talk about wanting to get on the train, so maybe in its previous pass-throughs he
Well,
jumped on it?
sorry. Well, I'll talk about this more later, but it makes no sense that he's on this particular train, I should say.
Oh, okay, so they're different trains. They aren't just the same train looping.
Well, that would make more sense. But, well, again, yeah, sorry. I'm derailing. Sorry.
Maybe
let me get back to
he got on it when it was just coming up. So it's possible.
And maybe he had jumped on it when, like, before it even started going. Like, we don't know when he jumped on the train.
Yeah.
We don't know when he jumped on any train. He just mentioned about jumping on trains, and he probably just chose a cart that he thought was going to be... Maybe he actually saw them working on this engine, and he was just like, oh, if they're getting this engine ready, then any cars attached to it, they're probably going to keep, so I should jump on one.
I also...
me, it makes perfect sense that he's on this one.
I also assume that this is just a ghost train from, like, nowhere. It's, we're gonna go to the brothel, the bathhouse now. Run
You know
into
what-
Yeah, we end up in the smoke room.
Yeah, we
You know
want
what
to...
this really is? It's the crazy train!
Yeah, we're gonna go find a water dragon and a witch. Some old man who's like keeping the fires going. It's just spirited away. All right, Carl, go for it.
Yeah, we could talk about the train hijinks later, but yeah, I'm just putting a red flag here of I don't agree with that. But
Yeah,
all right.
writers.
Anyway, yeah, who would be a writer? That's just a terrible profession.
Go, go, go!
So, where do you think we're going?
I feel Carl.
I mean, other than hell.
I feel Carl twitching. Well, that just came from hell. I feel Carl twitching against me as he sits there, hunched over.
Anywhere's better, as long as it's not hell, I guess. I guess. But wouldn't they have like cool parties? Because like all the cool gays are down there.
Yeah. Kudzu's arm goes around my shoulder automatically, and we sit there and we sit in silence for what feels like a long, long time. I don't mind it. I wouldn't mind if this were the rest of my life, honestly. For the first time in several days, I feel calm and safe.
You know, it's like a Doctor Who like episode actually has that, where people are just in cars going around a big circle for years and years. It was like, yeah, you probably not want this to be the rest of your life, Chase.
Soon enough, though, the darkness of the caboose is illuminated with occasional flashes of light. Flynn looks out the window.
Peyton.
With a grating screech, the train starts slowing down. I'm a little surprised. I guess they thought the train wasn't real and it would just go on forever. But now it comes to a slow, stuttering stop. We all sit in the dark, quiet. We all sit in the dark, quiet, listening. We all sit in the dark, quiet, listening. And then Flynn stands up and opens the door. Soft orange light spills inside. What the hell? Out of the doorway, I see a row of train tracks occupied by boxcars. Someone moves into view, an older-looking fox in overalls. He stares up at us like we're aliens. Where the hell did you come from? A moment of silence goes by before Flynn clears his throat.
We're from Echo. He clears his throat and stretches.
Mm-hmm. Saturday.
So we time traveled back to yesterday. Yeah, Mom. I'll Yeah, Mom. I'll promise I'll call you in an hour. No, I'm not. We're not staying the night. I promise. Wow, Mom. All right, all right. I swear. I love you too. Bye.
I hang up and drop my paw into my lap, sighing loudly. Kudzu laughs. Everything okay? I rub my eyes.
Yeah, I guess. She's just worked up, obviously. She's just worried, obviously.
Kudzu reaches over and sets his paw on my knee, squeezing briefly before returning it to the steering wheel. I can still turn back, you know. I take another breath and hold it. It's tempting. It might even be a better idea to just let the past die. But now that I'm leaving the area for good, I want to see it one more time. So, did Kudzu and Chase start dating? The town, I mean, they are trauma bonded now.
Yeah.
The best way to meet a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Trauma bond. This is my trauma ring going on your trauma finger.
The town and Leo. I let the breath out.
Nah, I need to do this. I've thought about it for so damn long now. There's no way I'd forgive myself for backing out now.
I need closure. Alright, but if he gets weird at all, I'm taking you the hell out of here.
He won't. He's back to normal-ish, maybe? As much as any of us can be anyway, you know, for someone still in Echo, physically.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him it's only going to be for a little bit, that we're just driving through.
I look over at him.
You want to stay in the car? Huh? Want to be away from the big scary wolf?
Well, it's planning to, unless you're planning to go inside.
No, I'll stay outside, like a good little otter. Oh.
Alright, but I'll be watching you just in case you do try anything.
Yeah, no trying to cut me out of a threesome. That's clearly forbidden. Yeah, right. It's been 2 years.
That's not very long.
Hey, I know Leo. He's not the person we last saw.
Yeah, I
That
know.
was his evil twin, Roberto.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, I know. I feel my stomach tighten as I suddenly realize we're driving past the lake, then into Main Street. It's completely abandoned, but then we pass the motel. The windows are all boarded up and the parking lot is filled with more cracks than I remember. But I'm hit with a wave of familiarity all the same. Standing in the parking lot are two people. Pointing at the motel is a large black bear, and in front of him stands a canine of some kind with a video camera. Kudzu snorts but doesn't say anything. At first, I feel a spark of anger at them. We're probably seeing the whole thing as a morbidly fun adventure, not even having the slightest idea what sort of hell this town went through. And then I remember that I had done the same thing. Granted, it was many more years removed, but still the same. We turn onto Leo's street, and my stomach tightens further. Kudzu glances at me. Can I get a kiss before you talk to your ex?
Eyes on the road.
Kudzu leans over, very deliberately keeping his eyes on the road as he tries to turn his face towards me. I give him a quick peck on the side of his muzzle, and he laughs. I try to laugh as well, but it gets caught in my throat as I see that old house. And there, waiting in the driveway, is Leo. Oh, good, he's finally taken that bracelet off.
Yeah. You noticed that,
We
huh?
finally showed character growth.
It's like that's what my discussion was on my channel. Like, he showed growth.
It's about time. He's only been
He's a
stuck in the
good
past.
papa.
He's a good doggy. Dog, scruff, 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 scruff. Here's a dog biscuit. Just do his neck.
I mean, the thing is, if you're stuck in the past, you're pretty much always going to be stuck in the past. And things are going to be horrible for you for the rest of your life, basically. You absolutely 100% must move on. If you don't, you will never be as happy as you could be. You'll always sort of be stuck. You'll always sort of be stuck in that snapshot of who you were in the past.
Hey, how's it going?
Theo cheerfully greets me as I open my door. It catches me off guard a little bit, his mood being so different from mine.
Hey, Leo. What's up?
Theo has his paws shoved into his pockets, but still manages to shrug.
Not much. You?
Not much.
Leo ducks his head and looks in at Kudzu.
Hey, good. You alright?
Kudzu awkwardly answers from behind me. Yeah, I'm okay. There's a moment of silence as I try to think of what to say or do. I hadn't expected Leo to just meet me outside.
Did you wanna come in for a beer or something?
Oh, I'm actually driving for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we were just stopping by for a minute. This very central location that's very easy to get quickly in and out of, just for a minute.
Totally.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
Leo's smile falters falters a bit, then he shrugs again.
Wanna go for a walk then? Stretch your legs?
I look back at Kudzu, but he doesn't say anything. He doesn't give me a hint as to what he's thinking. He's leaving the decision up to me.
Yeah, sure.
Leo ducks his head again.
You wanna come, good?
Kudzu hesitates, then shakes his head. No, you two go ahead. I prefer the AC.
Alright. Cool.
Feeling just a little tension between the two of them, I quickly jump out and shut my door. I look over at the rail yard, which is in full view of the car, and point.
I just want to imagine that like they have a hybrid, so it's very quiet, and then Kuzu's just very quietly following them in the car as they're walking along. Like, don't mind me.
Don't mind me, I'm just making sure you're not going to. Oh! Put it on the gas, run him over!
You just hear like the really low sound of like gravel getting run over.
All right. Want to walk over there?
Sure.
So you've just been hanging out here for the past 2 years?
A little bit. Spent a lot of time at my parents'. I'm moving back in with them right now, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it sucks. But honestly, I can't stand all the vultures scavenging around for stories right here.
Sounds like it. But at least you'll be around other people, right?
Yeah. It's officially a ghost town now, if you haven't noticed.
I look out over the rest of the town, towards the motel and the convenience store, and all the tiny houses and trailers in between. Not a single person, not even Jaundice.
Zombified walking around.
You must eternally serve the diner.
Yeah. She's just a skeleton. What do you want?
Want me to serve you your regular? I actually visited Carl once in a while over the summer.
He nods up towards the mountains, and I see that big mansion glinting in the sunset.
Hey, that's cool. Harry's doing pretty good at school right now.
Yeah, I mean, good. Are you going back to school?
Meh, school's for losers. I got me a winner boyfriend.
I
So we're
shrug,
just gonna like hang out and cruise. Sorry.
I shrugged my shoulders, walking up to the train tracks and straddled the steel rails.
Not in Pueblo since we're moving up a couple states, but probably eventually.
There's a lull in the conversation as we both go quiet. I look around, wondering if this was the spot where we hopped on the train. The train that turned out to be an old engine and caboose on its way to Peyton, where it was then transferred to a train mausoleum, to
Mausoleum.
to a train
Kind of,
museum.
yeah. See, this is why I don't think it makes sense. It makes more sense for it to just be a ghost train because that's why Clint would be there because it would, all the passengers would collapse into one car metaphysically. But if there's, and but if there's multiple trains going by at just random times, because he took off and ran for the first one,
Yeah, who knows? Maybe
and
you know.
also just the complete coincidence of all this lining up exactly when they needed it to at 4 in the morning.
It could be something where, like, because there's multiple trains going through, right? It could be that the train gets to the end, and then when it hits the barrier, the limina, it gets sort of trapped in there for a little bit, and then gets teleported back to the other side, where it comes through town again. And it does this a bunch of times but each time it's gaining more power to escape the limina, the plane, this bubble. And then eventually, when they get on it, it has just enough extra people, I guess, that maybe helps to finally break through. Maybe it's built up enough,
Mana
planar,
force.
yeah, enough planar static electricity, if you will, to finally break through. So who
We'll find
knows?
out in a few scenes, actually.
It had been traveling at a gentle 10 miles an hour to keep from derailing off the old tracks. So just slow enough for us to catch. But that was the last 3 engines being transferred that night. Just a few hours later, the emergency services went in and recovered who else was left in town, including Leo. I still wondered if we'd even needed to hop the train, but I guess escaping was. But I guess. I still wonder if we even needed to hop the train, but I guess I was escaping more than just the town. I look back at Leo.
Are you okay?
Hmm?
Leo looks up from kicking around some rocks.
I mean, you look a little hang doggy there, huh? Hmm? We're doing walkies. Aren't you excited? Where's that tail wagging, huh? Give me my Wolfie a walkies.
I scratch my head vigorously, trying to think of how not to say the wrong thing.
Have you been doing okay? Are you happy? That very easy to answer question.
Leo smiles.
Not really. Are you?
I think back to the past 2 years of nightmares and panic attacks, of breaking down into tears out of nowhere. How just a few hours ago I dropped to the ground in the grocery store in Peyton because someone dropped a jar of jam. But Kudzu had been there, like always, to help me back up.
I'm managing, codependent relationship with my lover. That's always the healthiest sign.
Harness, dude.
I can't cope with this.
It's a process.
That's good.
Are you managing?
Leo chuckles.
I'm just leaving.
Are you getting help?
Like professional help?
No, just amateurs. Have you been like on Reddit, mental health boards to get like,
Oh my god, Reddit. Reddit relationships. Should I break up? My boyfriend farted in the same room as me. And they're like, yes, break up with him.
Hashtag like r/relationship advice.
Yeah, it's like the takeaway. At the slightest mild inconvenience, break up and never talk to them again.
I finally found out who he really was because he did one thing out of the blue. After I completely was
I picked a
he's
fight with
been
him and he
faking
fought
it.
back.
He's been faking it the entire time for the past 10 years I've known him. It wasn't me hiding. I've wanted to do all these things forever. That's my turn.
I'm not a bad person. You're a bad person.
That's right.
All right, Chase, go for it.
Yeah?
No.
Oh, well, it can really help. That Reddit fix you right up.
I I like to do things on my own these days.
Leah looks back towards the car. Kudzu barely visible through the windows.
Mental health, that's something that you can always just personally fix on your own with no external support or help. Uh, People can help. You don't have to do everything on your own.
I think it's best if I stay away from people right for now. That's why I'm moving back in with my parents. They're people I just will not interact.
All right, Chase, go for it. People can help.
Wait, what?
Okay. Uh, People can help. You don't have to do everything on your own.
Oh,
I think
okay. I thought that was just a bunch of asides.
no.
Okay.
No,
And
sorry. I
okay.
actually went back to the dialogue.
Okay.
Although, Chase only finally now noticing what we all noticed immediately. Journalist.
I noticed the anchor bracelet missing from Leo's wrist. I looked down at the tracks.
Go for it, Chase.
Oh, okay. I guess you guys glitched out or something there.
We're at listen,
Um,
I'm sorry.
I missed a line. Okay. Listen, I'm sorry about everything that happened. I wish I could do things over, even before what happened here in Echo.
Leo looks at me for a moment, a sad smile on his face.
The last 2 years have been hell for me. I cried myself to sleep every night thinking about you.
1 second. Gotta turn that down just a little bit. I feel my face flush with embarrassment and, for some reason, shame.
But last month, for the first time, it stopped. I stopped thinking about you every hour. I stopped thinking about what you might be doing, about how he might be treating you, about whether or not you're thinking of me. Yeah, I still think about you sometimes. And when I do, I still cry. But it hurts. But now it hurts less. So, yeah, I am doing better, Chase.
Well, Leo, he beats me viciously, and you should be worried, but oh well. All right, bad joke. Moving on. Oh well, that's good.
I have no right to feel a little sad, but I do.
I'm sorry, Chase. For not protecting you the way I should have. For trying to control you. And that shit town that made us all go crazy. I realized it twisted up my thinking. But those thoughts were always there. Echo just brought it up to the surface. So listen, and you made me realize that. And I'm sorry I brought you into it. Just know that I really did love you.
Leo looks over my shoulder at the car again.
Anyway, you should get back to Kud. He'll take care of you. And I hope you'll take care of him, okay?
My mouth hangs open for a little bit, but that snaps me back to reality.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I start walking back to the car, but Leo doesn't follow me. I pause.
Do you want my new number? Huh? Huh? We could talk.
No.
The surprised look on my face makes Leo laugh. It's a real laugh, kinda sad, kinda happy, but real.
Oh, oh, that wouldn't be good for either of us.
So we're just saying goodbye forever?
That old knife in my heart starts twisting again. Leo shrugs.
You never know.
I stand there, 10 feet away from my first boyfriend, my first kiss, in this very rail yard. My best friend.
But hey, if you drive through P10 again, I'm always open to have another chat. Maybe you'll catch me in a better place.
I will.
I say it immediately, and Leo smiles at me.
So I'll see you again someday?
I look forward to it.
All right. Bye then.
Goodbye, Chase.
I walk the rest of the distance to the car and open the passenger door before getting in and sitting down. With the door still open, I look back one last time. Leo stands there, paws jammed into his pockets, his fur outlined with red and gold light from the setting sun, highlighting his head fur like a halo.
His head like a fur.
I take it in for a moment, then wave. He waves back, and like that, I close the door. So there is. I'm just gonna get the volume right for this. So there is the whole thing of. It brought up the idea of like trauma and stuff. So what Chase is going through is called PTSD. And that description of things is actually pretty accurate. With therapy, it gets better, which is the good part. But yeah, it is 100% something where he'll hear like a jar get dropped and explode, and then he'll go straight to the ground and start panicking. And panic attacks are pretty common and normal. With therapy, it gets better. I don't know if it actually ever completely goes away, but it does help with how to manage it and deal with it. Trauma is very much something that comes to the subconscious. It doesn't make sense. This is what I always told people when I was still in mental health, which is so much of you is subconscious, and I would always liken it to like 90%, but it could be even more. And your conscious mind is this itty bitty little thing. All your emotions come from your subconscious, and your subconscious doesn't understand our world with its complexities. It doesn't understand the greater world that we're seeing. It only understands like basic information coming in. It understands the pain of breakups, and that it feels that breakup. Right? It feels a loss. When a relationship ends, it's the same for your subconscious as someone dying, basically. So, yeah, it's not great. as for treatment, like, you can sort of get over stuff on your own. It takes much longer than with actual treatment, though. So you can manage it on your own, but doing so isn't necessarily as good for you as you might hope. Having treatment, getting stuff off your chest. Everyone has had this experience. If you haven't had it, don't worry, you hopefully will. Because, I mean, life happens. But it's the whole thing of you hold on to just the crap, the garbage that has happened to you in your life. Because that's just what we like to do. We like to grab it. We like to hold on to it. We like to manage it. We like to cover it up as much as we can. But you'll find that eventually you forget about it. You consciously forget, but your subconscious doesn't. It's still holding on to it. And then when that gets released, you feel so much relief. So it really is important to talk about this stuff, to dig in and uncover it, bring it to the surface, excise it, cut it out, basically, to release it. It is basically, think of it like an infection. The stuff that you buried, and it's an infection deep within you, and it just sits there and rots and gets worse until one day it gets brought to the surface and eliminated, essentially. But it's worse than that, because it's an infection that you can touch, and when you touch it, that ooze, that oil, that rot is so much worse because it's been festering. And that makes you recoil, and it usually makes people feel hollow or just like they're horrible people. It makes them feel like they're just dying. So it's something where you definitely 100% want to cut that crap out and get rid of it. And you do that with treatment. So you can also do it just by talking to people that you know, that you trust. Tell them all your horrible things that have happened to you, all your dirty laundry, and all that good stuff. The nice part about a therapist or a psychiatrist or psychologist is that they are kind of required to not tell anyone. And if they do, they can lose their license. So that's the benefit of going to one of those and actually paying for that. They're also trained to help you with those kinds of things. Because there are patterns that seem to show up with humans. Remember, humans are just animals. The sweeping majority of us have brains that function very predictably in a lot of ways. Even if what's being processed through that doesn't necessarily make sense or follow specific patterns, certain treatment patterns can work. Keyword can. And certain treatment types can work better at getting rid of or dealing with certain things. And yeah, it's one of those things where knowledge is power, and they can help you by using certain methods to try and see if this works for the specific issue that you're having. And if that doesn't, we can try a different one. If that doesn't work, then a different one, and a different one, and a different one, until we've literally used all of our possible options to try and treat something, or if it gets dealt with. And if all the normal options don't work, there's probably something else that can work. If none of those work, then it's probably something that's being created by something else, and so we need to go dig in and find that. But yeah, Leo is he's not setting himself up for failure, but he is kind of setting himself up for a really kind of bad life, I want to say. There's, in response to stressors, the humans like to isolate. Like if you feel like you're wounded, feel like you're hurt, one of the things you're going to want to do is get away from everyone, because that isolation makes you seemingly feel safe. It doesn't actually make you safe. It actually makes you more vulnerable. It makes it easier for you to be hurt. But it's a useful instinct. If you feel like, oh no, I have this horrible disease that I don't want to give to everyone else, well, if you're not near anyone else, you probably don't give it to anyone. You don't spread this disease. And as a result of that, your entire tribe or group don't die of, mega flu, super flu, or whatever. Instead, you do. But everyone else is fine. And that virus dies with you. So, it is useful in its own way, but there are lots of times when it just doesn't really work the way it's supposed to. Lots of people who are addicted to drugs, once they realize they have an addiction, they tend to isolate. When people feel pain, they tend to isolate. It's just, it is what it is. It's not good, and you should not isolate. When you feel like you should just go to your room and hide from the world, that is precisely the time when you should not do that, and you should instead reach out to your friends. If you don't have friends, well, ladies and gentlemen, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Tats. Reach out to Kaiser, maybe. They might say hello. There are plenty of Discords. There's Discord for Echo. There's a Discord for Healthy Gamer GG. It's run by this lovely psychiatrist. It's an adorable Indian guy. He's absolutely adorable. You'll love him. And he runs that. There are people there who will talk to you for free. Yeah, there's just tons of this stuff. You'd be amazed when people catch on that someone is in pain. Like the general human instinct is to help each other. It's one of the reasons we're so successful and why humans are still here, despite being kind of trashed here at almost everything physical. Humans are just, because we are able to think, because we are able to design technology and come together, because we look at a threat and say that thing needs to go, and we just go deal with the problem. Humans do really well. When animals who do not have that community instinct are put in danger, let's say a predator moves into the area, the animals themselves tend to isolate. They tend to hide from that predator. When a predator comes in and starts hunting humans, well, Paleolithic man would just say, okay, let's take care of this. And you'd have 50, 100 people go out there with spears, go hunt it down and kill it. You might kill 10 of them. But you know what? It's not there anymore. So, do not isolate. Do not hide. That's not good for you. Your parents care about you. That is very true. But typically you want to get moving on in life instead of just living with your parents forever. It's kind of an important thing. You want to, if you are living with your parents for whatever reason and you're not a teenager, go to college. Find some exit strategy. Because you will probably be happier when you're on your own than if you were just living in your parents' basement. Go become an attorney. Go become a doctor. If none of that, go become a tradesperson. People in trades in America can make money hand over fist. So it can be a stressful job, whatever the trade is, but it's also one of those where you kind of just end up running your own business with your husband or wife or friend or whatever. And you guys just are making money, living your lives, enjoying what you can. Life is short. It's when you're young, it's a joke. When you get older, it's not, because time accelerates for you. When you're a teenager, time seems to pass so slowly when you're a teenager, to the point that kids just play video games all the time, just to make time go by, in a way, just to kill time. And you get to your 20s and you start getting busy with everything, with people, with all kinds of things, but time is still pretty slow. You get to your 30s and it starts to speed up some, but it's still not super fast. You still don't wake up and wonder where the hell the last week went. Then you get to your 40s? I'm not quite there yet. And I've been told by people over their 40s that time dilation really kicks in.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it
Woke
really,
up at,
really, really kicks in after if you have kids.
I
Because
woke
then
up
you're
at
always
40.
busy.
I woke up at 40. I woke up at like 7 today, and it's already late evening, and I'm just like, I haven't played any video games yet. Where did the day go?
Yeah, there have definitely been times where I've noticed it. For me to feel like I have a whole day, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. And then it feels like I had the whole day, and then I go to sleep when it's dark, when it's late. I might stay up late and hang out with friends or something, but yeah, it is what it is. But if I wake up at 11, the day seems like it's just over before I'm even ready to start with it. And the thing is, like, I'll wake up at 6 a.m., and by the time I'm done doing everything that I want to get done before starting my day, it's like 11. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to all my time? Like, where is the time? I didn't even go out for a long walk. The thing that's craziest to me is I'll go on like these 3-hour walks for like 5-6 miles or something. And those are where I'm present. Like, those feel like it's a long time unless I'm just listening to music. But it feels like time is slowing down for that. Because I'm slowing down and actually paying attention to what's around me and enjoying my time. But it's, time dilation is real. And before you know it, you're going to be in your 30s. And then before you know it, you'll be in your 40s. And then probably before you know it, you'll be in your 50s, 60s, 70s. And if you're like Leo, you're going to wonder what the hell you did with your life. It's just the reality. Humans don't really care about events. Your brain does not give a damn about events. Your brain doesn't care. In 10 years, 20 years, your brain is not going to give a flip who won the election. Your brain is not going to care about who won the 2012 election or the 2016, 2020, 2024. Your brain isn't really going to care. Those things will fade into memory. But the people you spent that time with, the people who were important to you, the people you loved, the people you hated, that is what your brain will remember. And I will tell you right now, your brain will remember the good more than it remembers the bad. Make good memories. Get together with people that you like. The people that you feel you've wronged in the past, reach out to them. Apologize. Let them know that you feel bad, because you do, on some level. Unless you're a psychopath, at which point don't, because it won't matter to you. But hey.
No, I just constantly make vengeance lists
Oh, yeah.
and just constantly review them and come up with more and more painful ways of getting that revenge.
Yeah.
And then you appear in a Billy Madison or Adam Sandler movie.
You start striking people off the list. Yeah, I can just see it. So, like,
The one person who actually calls you up, you're just like, oh, okay, I'll just strike his name off right now.
so Kaiser,
No, it's like that
that's
show My Name is Earl, but reverse.
so Kaiser, that's why you take people down in those mines behind your house all the time.
Yeah, I know. And now we're gonna have to find a new spot because they're sealing them all up.
Yeah, no, it is what it is.
Hey man, that's what a good old Sparta kick is for. Open that seal right up, baby. Let's go.
Yep. But yeah, guys, like, you're gonna remember the good memories of people, and there is nothing. I don't think there's anything more sad than someone who's dying of old age, who's just, they look back at their life and the only thing they have are bitter memories. Like, I can't imagine something worse than that, because there's probably a point where time dilation slows down and then sort of goes in reverse as you're getting closer to the end. But yeah, maybe it just speeds up like crazy, and before you know it, you're just gone. But I would like to believe that, I would like to believe that when people look back in those quiet, calm times in their lives, I would like for them to look back and remember the people they met along the way. the friends they made, the things that made life worth living. There are few things as sad as someone who looks back and has nothing worth living. What was it all for? Did you just exist and suck air? Or did you exist and suck some? Or did you exist and have a good time?
That was my plan.
Did you exist and enjoy life? The people near you that were important to you? That stood out, that made you actually feel like you were alive? Or is life just one long gray blur? That's what you don't want. If that's what you're doing right now, whoever you are, know that if you just bury your emotions, if you just bury everything, your life you'll continue to exist as you are until you die. You won't grow, at least not as much as you could. You won't feel anything, there won't be any highs, there won't be any lows. You'll have to find things that are fairly extreme. Anime is good about doing that, by the way. Anime is designed to make you feel things. So, if everything is gray for you, step out of that. Make the conscious decision to go find out why it's all gray. And then fix that. Because if it's all gray, everything will just be gray forever. And then one day everything's all black and nothing's there. We find out on the bright side, you find out what happens later, but after you die, but yeah, what would be the point then, I guess? But yeah, live your life. Don't just exist. Live it. That's the most important thing. Life is supposed to have ups and downs. It's supposed to have moments of joy and elation as well as moments of pain. This is just a simple reality. Shakespeare once said that it is better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Isn't that right, Kaiser?
I don't know. I've never loved.
So
I just exist. I'm just a void.
Okay, I was going more with you were in the theater arts or in films, so maybe you knew something, maybe you knew some Shakespeare. But, yeah.
Well, look, all I know is brevity is the soul of wit, so let me go on for 3 more pages.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so, yeah, live your life. Don't just be in a gray and die. That sucks. A life that you have lived, that is full of life, that is full of experiences that make you feel like it's worth it, is a better life than one that goes on that just goes on forever and then ends. Anyway, yeah. Humans need to live for people, not just themselves. You live for yourself, your life will suck. Anyway, you guys.
Well, if anybody wants to debate me on the Ghost Train controversy, you can find me at Kaiser Hood on Blue Sky.
Yeah, there you go. I think I'm on Blue Sky as well. I think it's Muir on Blue Sky.
I think you're right.
And Tats.
I'm also on Blue Sky. Of course, I also have YouTube channel, Terry Candlestick. And I'm also Terry Candlestick on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And well said, Finn. You really let your education with psychology come through, which was kind of excited. I was really excited to really get your take on the story so far, and just like the trauma, just the raw trauma that is Leo's route.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing all that.
Your as I said, so the subconscious, I'll just give that quick, I'll just sort of summarize that real quick. The subconscious does not understand the world going on around you. Your conscious mind does. So when a breakup happens, your conscious mind is what triggers your subconscious mind to say, hey, I just lost someone very, very important to me. And your subconscious treats that the same as them being dead. Your subconscious mind does not understand anything really. I mean, it understands basic things, but all of that has to be filtered through your conscious mind. And yeah, it's really difficult for your subconscious mind to really grasp these things. But yeah, it is what it is in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, I know you've got things to prepare for, don't you, Finn?
My Pathfinder game tonight is cancelled, so not really. I'll probably do some more VR or something like that.
What did you say, Rip?
What was that?
But all right, everyone. All right, so what are you guys planning on doing? We'll start with Kaiser. What are you doing moving into the future?
Currently have no plans.
All
I'm
right.
just existing in the gray.
Tats, what are you planning on doing in the future?
I am finishing up a free class online at HubSpot.com. It's inbound marketing. I'm looking at some other marketing classes after that. And then for a truly professional career, since I'm already working in it, I'm thinking of just going into engineering technology with a focus on mechanical and electrical interfaces. And then that will be my moneymaker. And then I can continue making probably some fan fictions for myself, furthering myself educationally in engineering technology, getting different certificates and awards and whatnot, and then just looking at interacting with more people. And once I'm finally stable, maybe get into a relationship. And of course, continuing the YouTube channel, because that's a lot of fun, and I think it's a fun skill to have.
All right.
Don't you agree?
And for me, everyone, I am going back to school, taking up some paralegal classes, seeing how I would like that after managing to slide my way into some legal profession. Because being able to work for myself, well, my previous job has taught me that mental health is very underpaid, and it would be far easier to either help found businesses that with people who do mental health and provide them services, as well as potentially helping people in lawsuits to get mental health. All of that would probably be a bit better for me financially. Get paid way, way, way more money doing that than I ever would actually just being a therapist, and would be able to help more people. But hey, it is entirely possible that maybe, just maybe, I have a horrifically terrible experience with the legal profession and be like, screw this, I'm just going to go do therapy and then jump into that. But
are you trying to say, Finn, that you would rather help people stay in the gray while giving others the experience in the red of revenge?
no.
Try to help people out of the gray and into growth and acceleration.
What I'm saying is, I could help way more people by getting them to therapists and helping them fight their insurance companies so that they can get therapists. Because, we did just see a little while ago how corrupt and horrific insurance companies are. With that one company where that one CEO, horrible things happened to him because he was a terrible person. But that guy, his business ended up paying out like over 150 million in denied claims because they were proven to just be like pieces of crap, and they shouldn't have denied those claims. So being able
That's probably a very low number.
yeah, and I mean, granted, don't go out and shoot people, okay? I want to make this very clear. I'm not endorsing that. Don't go hurt people. But it's the whole thing of I can help more people escape from the gray, or just this black prison of just nothing but ichor that they basically flooded themselves with all their traumas. Being able to get people out of that with with other therapists and them move forward in their lives and get things going is far more, is probably a lot better and gives me a lot of other options. So it's quite the opposite. I'm able to help more people get out of the gray.
Oh, very good.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We will definitely see.
I would like to talk more with you about that.
Of course.
It's like Alistair.
Oh, yes, it's like Alistair. Oh, yes. He is a completely lawful evil, complete monster. Which is why people like him, because he's a complete monster who's lawful evil.
And I always do have such a charm to me, don't I?
He's so charismatic. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. For the YouTube channel, I'll probably be doing more stuff where it is... I'm probably going to start incorporating some VR. Recently redesigned my recording space to facilitate that. Right now, I am posting a bunch of Elden Ring videos from the Seamless Co-op that me, Tats, and Nev have done. We may still be working on that, but something happened recently, so we'll
On the
see.
previous live stream, you might know what happened.
It may have corrupted our saves, but we have a workaround for that. And we'll both be called, they'll all be called Elden Lord for some reason, but don't worry about it. They'll have really cool builds. So there's that.
Maybe we can just strike that out and just have throughout the entire video, just have like a slash over Elden Lord anytime it comes up, and instead it just has like some name.
So
just written with the mouse.
I think it just has. I think in the recording, when it gets to that and that happens, it just cuts to like a black screen with white text that says their saves got corrupted. It's just like no, wait.
It's got some meme. We got to include some meme in there.
Yeah,
Probably like Michael Scott screaming no.
Yeah.
From The Office.
It's that or dun 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 dun. You know that meme.
It was at this moment.
It was at this moment they knew they fucked up.
You might be wondering how I got here.
Oh yeah, it's just a flashback. Yeah. The very end of the video is at the front. It's like, you might be wondering how I got here. Well, let me take you back to the beginning of this.
Yeah.
And just goes to us doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
See, that way you can trick everyone into just cycling through the content endlessly and just get tons of views.
Yeah.
How do you keep someone entertained for hours, and it's just the end of the video is the beginning of the video, and they wonder, how did they do that? So they click again.
So there is something that's kind of interesting with Echo, which is this is all taking place in a small town, and I haven't grown up in a small town. Tats has not grown up in a small town. I don't know about Kaiser.
I'm currently in a small town. The small town I grew up in.
Yeah. So there is that thing that is kind of unique to a small town experiences, from what I understand, which is because of the isolation, because of how insular it can be. It is kind of hard to escape it in some ways.
You're telling me.
Yeah. But, alright. I think with that, I think we're ready to stop the stream.
I do believe so. It's been a very good talk, very good
All right.
conversation. Echo and related
Yep.
topics.
Alright.
Yep, we're finally done with one route.
We are.
That only took us a month and a half.
Yeah.
But to be fair, there's holidays in there.
Yeah.